We are just a little more than 24 hours from the countdown to 2018, with millions of Americans ready to get started on their New Year's resolutions. And for those of you looking to achieve a longer and healthier life, our next guest has some tips that can help. Dr. Jen Caudle practices family medicine and is an associate professor at Rowan University School of Osteopathic Medicine. Dr. Jen, always nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Let's get right to it. So you're telling us that you have some keys to living to be 110 years old. What's the secret? What do we have to do to get there?
Well, Arthel, I wish I could claim them as my own, but they're not. A researcher named Dan Buettner and his colleagues looked at some of the areas in the world where the longest living people are, people who live well over 100 years, and these sort of pockets of the world. And they looked to see what things were common within these groups of people. And they found about 9 different things that these older people who live very long and healthy lives had in common. So I think we should just go through those. One of the things they found was exercise. Intense exercise was very important. Also, making sure that we're minimizing stress. The people who minimize stress tended to do better. And also, these are groups of people who tended to wake up with a sense of purpose. But Arthel, there were many other things as well, such as eating in moderation, not eating too much, eating a healthy diet, and moderate alcohol consumption. And finally, I think one of the things that we oftentimes don't think about is our relationships with other people. These were groups of people, those who lived longer, who had good relationships with family and friends, who spent time with people who had similar religious views or similar personal views. So all of these things in combine perhaps might just help us live longer. You never know.
So is there such a point where it's too late to start? I mean, can we start even if we're already halfway there, or if you're in your 60s or 70s? Is it too late to get going on some of these practices?
Well, let's hope so. I mean, here's to hoping, right? I mean, the idea is, as a family physician, I actually think these tips, even though the researchers who looked at these tips found that these were commonalities between people who lived long lives, as a family doctor, I think these are wonderful tips that we should all be employing no matter what and anyway, because these are just good ideas. We're talking about healthy eating. We're talking about eating in moderation and drinking in moderation, spending time with family, reducing stress. I mean, yes, we can all start this right now if it hasn't been started already.
We can all start right now. And I like the one of the tips that was, don't eat until you're full. Don't just sit there and gorge yourself. Just wait, when you feel somewhat satisfied, don't wait till you're like, okay, I'm stuffed, I'm gonna back away now. Okay, now you've overdone it. Do you have a New Year's resolution, Dr. Jen? Yes or no? I'm not asking what it is. Do you have one? That's all I want to know.
Well, you know what? I do make resolutions every year. Some people say, oh, I don't make them. I actually make them. And I think one of the things that really inspired me by this list, Arthel, was I love the fact that oftentimes in the new year, we think about our bodies. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to work out, eat healthier, I'll lose those extra pounds. But I love how this list reminds us to think about our mind and our spirit, spending time with family and friends, being happy, being fulfilled, and living a life with purpose. So I'm going to make my New Year's resolutions and definitely keep those things in mind.
Let's do it, Dr. Jen. Happy New Year to you and your family.
Happy New Year.
Okay, thank you.